Hello, everybody. It is your favorite friendly neighborhood woke centrist here. I just want to give you guys a quick first impressions on the first episode of House of the Dragon. I'm not going to get into spoilers or anything too deep here. I just had watched it recently, and it's possible me and Mindgasms might get into a more in depth conversation about this show, or at least this first episode. But I just wanted to give you guys my spoiler free first impressions. So, production looks pretty good. I'll have to say, costuming is awesome. The source material that they pull from, they're doing a great job here. Acting is pretty good. When you hear people talk about dollar store Legolas, you'll pretty much know what they mean within like the first 20 minutes of the show. So this is something that me and my significant other were looking very much forward to. So one thing I did notice, um, and I'm talking about differences between this show and the Game of Thrones. I know it's not family viewing, that's for sure. But in this opening episode, there is a significant amount of gore that I was not expecting. Um, I did not consider Game of Thrones. It wasn't that much of a gory show, even during the fighting scenes. But there were a lot of uncomfortable violence, and it's not uncomfortable for me per se, but I really wanted to make sure that my significant other, she's a little bit squeamish when it comes to those types of things. So Um, I was getting a little bit nervous that she wouldn't wanna watch the show because she doesn't really like, excessive violence, when we're showing, limbs getting chopped off and stuff like that. Um, and that wasn't even the most excessive part, I don't think. There is a scene, I'm not gonna describe it too much, that has nothing to do with violence at all, that is quite bloody and gory. I thought they lingered a bit too much on some of the things we would consider gross. But anyway, yeah, lots more violence. I remember the first episode of Game of Thrones, and I don't remember it being as violent as this episode. Um, One of the things we do have is the episode ends. It seems that it ends causing the primary conflict of the series, and there's a lot of entangled web of political machinations that you can see that go on in the show. One of the things, it's all predating the Game of Thrones series by about 175 years, so none of the characters there are going to be recognizable. One of my gripes, though, and this has nothing to do with the show per se, it's mainly concerning the original material. I have a really hard time remembering the Targaryen names. Like, they are so similar that it's really hard to remember who's who and what their names are. Um, there are characters with very similar names, and they're not the easiest names to pronounce when you see what they look like in writing. So, did I enjoy what I watched? I thought it was pretty good. The very first episode, lots of violence. You do get a sex scene. I'm less concerned about the sex scenes than I am about the violence. It's for me, it's just, can I watch this with my significant other? Will she be too squeamish? Um, but she soldiered through it. She was able to get through the first episode, and I think for now, we're interested in continuing on and seeing how this unfolds. But yeah, this is just a quick hot first impression of the show. I thought it was pretty decent. I know they have a high bar to clear. One of the things I will note though is it seems like the dragon budget wasn't as high as the original Game of Thrones. You could definitely see that they cut some corners when it comes to the CGI regarding the dragons. Um, I don't know what it is. It just, to me, doesn't look as good. I know probably throughout the series, they're going to have to cut corners because the dragons are going to be a much more prominent aspect of this series in comparison to Game of Thrones. And I know from what I know that the dragon scenes were particularly expensive. And if they're gonna load up on these dragons for this series, it seems that they might cut a little bit of corners. You could definitely tell that the CGI isn't as good, in my opinion, as the original Game of Thrones. But we'll see. And you know what? I don't mind too much. It's To me, CGI is gonna look like CGI whether I like it or not, but, it wasn't too distracting. But anyway, that is my quick synopsis and my quick first impression of the show. I'll probably will let you guys know if me and Andrew do a more fully, um, like a more deeper analysis into this first episode, as opposed to doing a spoiler free analysis. And there's a bunch of stuff in here. There's in this episode there's drama, there's violence, there's sex. It's like they check off like all of the major checkpoints in this. It's an HBO show. There has to be some, and it's a pretty big sex scene, so you'll see it's in the first episode. But anyway, guys, thank you for taking the time to check this out. If you have any things that you have in first impressions of, please put it in the comments. Like and subscribe. We'll really look forward to hearing your guys' feedback. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Like and share this content. Click on the bell to make sure that you're notified whenever I drop a video. And you'll hear from me soon when we talk about. We're actually planning on doing a video on the second half of the OCD project, as well as doing a little bit of deeper dive into this first episode of the House of Dragon. So, anyway, you guys have a great day today. Check it out. Take it easy.